have a really great session planned for you. And our first speaker is Anousheh Ansari, who really needs no introduction. She is a CEO, an entrepreneur, an astronaut. She was the first female private space traveler, the first Muslim woman in space. She fulfilled a childhood dream since she was a child to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Anousheh Ansari to talk about the next stage of entrepreneurship and the technologies that are emerging. Thank you all, and please join me in welcoming Anousheh.
Thank you. Good morning. Let me just get the, okay. It's great to be here. Thank you for waking up early. I know everyone was partying late. They asked me to talk about future of technology, and if we can get the slides up, that would be great. So I know some of you thought I'm going to talk about space. I'm sorry to disappoint you. We can talk about it at the break. And pretty soon, probably, otherwise I have to start dancing. Okay, great. Okay, so let's go back. So I'm an entrepreneur in technology, and I've seen what's happening in the world of technology and how everything's changing fast. So I was delighted to be able to come here and actually talk about technology and the future of technology. And I think the reason they asked me to talk about that is because I was actually very good at predicting the future when I was very young as a child. And this is how I predicted my future, and this is how I made it come true. So that's why they thought, okay, she knows what she's talking about. So future of technology and what made it very difficult when I was looking at it and making prediction, basically I could predict anything, and there was no way to know if it's going to be true or not, because future is truly unpredictable more than ever. But there were some trends, some common themes that I think no matter what's going to happen, you can see that it's moving in that direction. One of them is that our future will be personalized. There's a lot of technology like 3D printing that was making this possible and is transforming and disrupting many different industries. Whether it's the clothes we wear, I have to tell you I travel a lot, and my dream is that one day I will go to a hotel room, I will punch in a card or enter my name or just scan my phone, and there will be all these things that I needed that I preloaded and will be printed for me in my room ready when I go there, and by the time I leave I can just drop it in a recycling bin. Whether it's our food supply and being able to have a more sustainable, cleaner way to have different types of food, different parts of the world. And already we have seen 3D printing of organs and customizing our organs and being able to make sure that we have just what we need. Now, of course, I have to talk about space. So one of the most exciting uses of 3D printing is in space, because it allows us to go much further. Today, the biggest hurdle for going to space is the cost of access to space. And the biggest problem is that whatever we need, we have to carry with ourselves, so it's very heavy. So it makes travel to space very expensive. But if we can print things while we are in space or on another moon or planet, we can actually reduce that weight and also be able to do a lot more. Made in Space is one of the companies out of Singularity University, has already put 2 printers on board of International Space Station, and they're testing it for different tools and things they need on board the space station. The other, I think, theme in future will be that our future will be augmented. So we have seen advancements in robotics, in AR, VR, and different technologies, and AI, and the combination of these things will make it very possible for us to be able to take care of people that need to be taken care of, to augment our abilities, whether it's the abilities we've lost or actually enhancing our existing abilities. And also, of course, with any technology, there's always good uses of technology and bad uses of technology. So we've already seen how a lot of things are used for using super soldiers, basically. Also, our future could be engineered. The advancement in genomics, synthetic genomes, and all these news about CRISPR, and now they are starting with a very positive use of it, which is for treating illnesses. A lot of genetic causes of illnesses can be now corrected at as we are older, or even before it gets to be an issue. Of course, that can lead into us trying to sort of customize ourselves, customize our babies, and probably enhance beyond that things that are not necessarily humanly possible today. So as I said, a lot of things like that can be used in positive or negative way, or creating creatures that don't even exist today. Again, I have to include space because to me, space is a very big part of our future. And with the democratization of space and the opening of space to private companies, we've seen a lot of things happen in actually carrying humans to space with Virgin Galactic, which I've been part of, SpaceX, Blue Origin, many companies trying to help government space agencies and companies to carry payload, to carry humans, to carry experiments to space. One of the most important uses of space is for us to access resources in space, because even if we use everything we have on our planet, as we grow the population, we won't have enough resources. So solar panel technology have been used for International Space Station, for example, or satellites to use the solar energy to power up the devices on board. But there's no reason why we can have massive solar panels orbiting our planet and then beaming down that energy to distribution points on Earth to have access to clean, sustainable energy for our use on Earth. We've already seen Planetary Resources announcing that they're going to mine asteroids. There will be manufacturing in space, whether it is new material we want to create in microgravity of space, or just by reducing waste because we're doing things in space. So I think manufacturing in space will be a reality soon. And of course, we've seen Elon's announcement about going to Mars and many others. And I think it will be a matter of time before we will have a moon base, and hopefully soon after that, a place on Mars. And it's important because, as humans, we're destroying our planets, of course. Hopefully we'll stop soon enough that we can reverse the effect of it. But also there's always external dangers to our life here on our planet. So it's very wise to have options if somehow our planet becomes inhabitable, we can't survive anymore on our planet, we can go to someplace else and at least our species can survive. And another thing that you can look at it, and that's why this is one of the most exciting times in history of human beings, in my opinion, because we have so much individual powers. We all carry these mobile phones in our pocket, and these mobile phones have the power of almost supercomputers. Not only that, they have cameras, microphones, gyroscopes, GPS, all these systems that used to be so expensive. But what's happening with the exponential changes in technology and also exponential reduction in cost of technology, it has made it possible for us to access everything. On top of that, we see these trends of everything as a service. This whole notion of shared economy has allowed for entrepreneurs like yourself to have access to things that previously you didn't have access to. Add to that crowdfunding and people wanting to invest, even if it's small amounts or microfinance. It has made it possible for us to do things that's not possible. Crowdsourcing also gives you access to the best talents in the world where you couldn't even afford to be able to hire them. So all of these combined together, what it means is the fact that you have now a lot of individual power in your hand, and that gives, as they say, with great power comes great responsibility. So now you have to choose and decide, what do I do with that? I have this dream, I want to do this, how do I make it happen? How would it impact people around me, my society, the world in general? But the fact that this happening at an exponential rate is why it makes it unpredictable. It also happens that a lot of these technologies are merging and impacting each other. So it makes that effect of change and that impact that much more greater. And sometimes, when we talk about exponential, it's hard, it's a word, and in our mind, perhaps we can fit it together. But if I would tell you that I'm going to take 30 steps, linear steps, and that's how our mind thinks. You can predict that I will be probably to the exit door right there. And it's a very easy thing for you to imagine and sort of understand. But if I tell you I'm going to take 30 exponential steps, what you would not imagine, that 30 exponential steps will be 26 orbits around the Earth. And that's what it makes it unpredictable. And as human beings, we like control. We like to predict things. We like to understand things. So it becomes scary. You know, when I talk to a lot of people who especially are not in the tech business, and they look at AI, robotics, they're going to come and take over the world. And, you know, the changes in, you know, genomics and technologies that are used to, as I said, treat illnesses, but also create superhumans. People get scared about the future. And it's easy for us to allow our fears to stop us from doing things. And when you look at history, a lot of bad things happened in secret. So even if we come and say, don't do this, this is a bad thing, this is the potential of this technology could be used in a negative way, and try to sort of regulate it, what happens is the people who usually obey the law will obey the law and not do it. And guess what? Those who would have used it for bad, they would use it, but now they're doing it in secret, so we won't even know it. So it's much better for us to be ahead of that game and not be fearful of it, but actually try to influence it and change it. And in general, in our lives, I think if we look at what's available to us, it actually could be exciting. As I said, there's a lot of individual power that we have today. And if we want to use this to make the future a better place, we can imagine a future, and with everything that's in our hand, and without fear, be able to make that future a reality would be the most important thing that an entrepreneur can do. So I hope that you all dream big, and I hope to see you very successful. I want to close with this poem. It's my favorite poem by Karen Raven, and hopefully I remember it. She said, "Only as high as I reach can I grow. Only as far as I seek can I go. Only as deep as I look can I see. Only as much as I dream can I be." So I hope you all dream big, and I hope your dreams come true. Thank you.